The worst kind of pain is the one you have to explain over and over because the person hurting you pretends not to see it. Ladies, it's time to get real. Some men aren't here to love you. They're here to leech off you. They'll walk into your life like a salesman with a fake smile, offering promises sweeter than honey. But once they've gotten what they came for, you're left drained, questioning your worth and wondering what went wrong. Here's the harsh truth. If someone constantly makes you feel unsure about your place in their life, it's not love, it's manipulation. You can't water a dead plant and expect it to grow, and you can't keep giving your time, energy and heart to a man who only sees you as an option while you treat him like a priority. It's time to stop making excuses for bad behavior and start recognizing the patterns. Let's break it down. If a man is using you, he will show certain behaviors, clear, unmistakable signs. And no, it's not about being confused or busy. That's just the smokescreen they use to keep you guessing. A man who truly values you doesn't play games, make excuses, or leave you hanging like a bad cliffhanger in a TV show. When you're being used, it doesn't always look obvious. It can feel like you're stuck in a maze, looking for an exit, but only finding dead ends. He says the right things, but does the bare minimum. You're left wondering, is it me? Am I asking for too much? Let me answer that for you. No, you're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person. Think of it like a vending machine. You keep putting in your love, attention, and effort, hoping to get something back. But the machine's broken, and all you're left with is frustration. Ever seen one of those signs that say, "You break it, you buy it"? Well, some men break you and still expect a refund. The nerve! Not every man who messes up is doing it on purpose. Some are just clueless, and others are immature. But here's the thing. Whether it's done with intention or out of carelessness, the result is the same. You feel hurt, ignored, and used. If you're sitting here thinking, "Am I crazy? Is it really that bad?" Ask yourself one question. Does he make me feel valued, or do I feel like a backup plan? Ladies, you can't change someone who doesn't want to change. You can't fix someone who doesn't see a problem. And you can't build a relationship on half-baked effort and empty words. You deserve someone who makes you feel like home, not like a guest overstaying your welcome. A man who's using you is like a phone with 1% battery left. It's only reaching out because it needs a charge. And once it's full, it's back to ignoring you until the next time it's running low. Here's the brutal truth. Men who use women don't have new tricks. They have patterns. Once you learn to spot these patterns, you'll see them coming a mile away. I'll walk you through the 5 biggest signs in just a moment. But before we dive in, let's set one thing straight. You deserve better. Better than mixed signals, better than late-night texts asking for favors, and better than a man who gives you crumbs while you're serving a feast. If he's making you doubt your worth, he's not the one. Real love doesn't confuse you. It calms you. So, are you ready to see the truth for what it is? Let's shine a light on these behaviors and put an end to the games. It's time to take your power back. And the first step is your commitment. So, commit with me right now in a simple way. Drop the comment below. Simply type, "I'm taking my power back," and send it out into the world. Write it down in the comments below. Let the world know you're ready for change. And while you're at it, press that like button under this video and subscribe for more empowering content. Let's do this together. Behavior 1. He only invests when it benefits him. If someone only shows up when they need something, they're not a partner, they're a parasite. Let's call it what it is. A man who only puts in effort when it benefits him isn't a lover. He's a taker. This behavior isn't accidental, and it's not something you can explain away. It's a calculated pattern designed to keep you giving while he only shows up for the payoff. He's not in it for you, he's in it for what you can give him. Picture this. He's all charm when he wants something, a favor, emotional support, validation, or intimacy. Suddenly, he's attentive, sweet, and even romantic. But the moment he gets what he wants, poof, he's gone, like smoke after a fire. When you need him, he's unavailable, busy, silent. Excuses roll in faster than a thunderstorm, but the underlying message is clear. You're a convenience, not a priority. Let's be real. This isn't love. This isn't even respect. It's selfishness dressed up in occasional affection. And it's dangerous because it makes you second-guess yourself. You start thinking, maybe he's just busy. But let me tell you, nobody is that busy. If he wanted to show up for you, he would. This behavior is what psychologists call a transactional relationship. It's like a vending machine. He puts in just enough effort to get what he wants and walks away. There's no depth, no connection, just extraction. And the worst part? You're left wondering if maybe you're asking for too much when, in reality, he's giving far too little. Think about this. Does his effort fluctuate based on his needs? Does he disappear after he's gotten something from you? Does he only text or call when he's looking for support, advice, or attention? If the answer is yes, you're not in a relationship. You're in a one-sided deal. Here's the gut punch. If his affection only comes with strings attached, it's not love, it's manipulation. And manipulation isn't something you fix. It's something you walk away from. What can you do about it? First, stop playing by his rules. Start paying attention to the dynamics of your interactions. Are his sweet moments always tied to a personal gain? If so, flip the script. Next time he comes around, shift the focus to your needs. Ask him for support, for effort, for consistency. How he reacts will tell you everything you need to know. If he pulls away, resists, or suddenly disappears, you've got your answer. A man who truly cares doesn't run when it's your turn to be cared for. And let's be honest here, healthy relationships don't work this way. Real love is built on reciprocity, mutual care, effort, and respect. If he's only in it when it benefits him, then it's time to ask yourself why you're still giving when you're not receiving. Remember this, someone who truly values you doesn't treat you like a convenience. They show up consistently and genuinely, not just when it serves them. Don't settle for a taker when you deserve a giver. Behavior 2. He keeps you guessing about your status. A man who keeps you guessing isn't indecisive. He's decided you're worth just enough to keep, but not enough to commit. Let's stop sugar-coating it. If a man is keeping you in the dark about where you stand, it's not because he's confused or figuring things out. It's because keeping you guessing works for him. It gives him control, keeps you on edge, and ensures you keep trying harder to earn what should be given freely: clarity and commitment. This isn't love. It's emotional manipulation wrapped in false hope. And here's the kicker. The more he keeps you guessing, the more you cling to the relationship. You hold on, believing that if you just wait a little longer, if you just love him a little harder, he'll finally choose you. But let's be real. That moment never comes. Why do you stay? Because fear whispers, lies in your ear. What if I'm overreacting? What if I leave and he was about to commit? What if I never find someone better? Fear convinces you to accept crumbs when you deserve the whole feast. But here's the truth. Fear isn't protecting you, it's holding you hostage. Imagine you're holding onto a rope that's burning your hands. Letting go is scary because it feels like losing something. But if you don't, the rope will keep cutting deeper until you're left with nothing but scars. That's what staying in a relationship like this does. It slowly destroys your self-worth, one unanswered question at a time. When you're with a man who keeps you guessing, your mind becomes a storm of what-ifs and doubts. Why does he act like he wants a future with me one day, but avoids talking about it the next? Why does he hold my hand in private but dodge questions about commitment? Is it me? Am I asking for too much? Let me tell you, you're not asking for too much. You're asking the wrong person. A man who values you won't make you beg for clarity. He won't treat you like an option while expecting you to treat him like a priority. This isn't just random behavior, it's strategic. Men who avoid commitment often use a push-and-pull dynamic to keep you hooked. One day, he's all in, making you feel like the center of his universe. The next, he's distant, dodging your calls and shrugging off questions about the future. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. It's the same tactic used in gambling. When rewards are unpredictable, like his affection, you cling even harder, hoping the next jackpot will be the one that pays off. But here's the truth. You're not winning anything. You're losing time, energy, and self-respect. If you're tired of living in this limbo, it's time to stop guessing and start observing. Watch his actions, not his words. A man's words can be sweet, but his actions tell the real story. Is he showing up for you consistently? Is he introducing you to his family and friends? Is he making plans for the future with you, or avoiding them like the plague? Stop being afraid to ask the hard questions. Say, what are we building here? Where do you see this going? His response, or lack of one, will tell you everything you need to know. And remember, maybe is not an answer. It's a stalling tactic. Your intuition knows when something feels off. Stop ignoring those nagging feelings that tell you you're being strung along. If you're constantly second-guessing your place in his life, it's because he's not giving you a clear one. Imagine you're at an airport, waiting for a flight. The gate agent keeps saying, "Your flight is delayed, but it's coming soon." So you sit and wait. Hours pass. You miss other opportunities because you don't want to leave the gate. Finally, you realize the flight was never coming. That's what this kind of relationship feels like. You're stuck, waiting for a future that's been delayed so many times, it's clear it's not happening. Breaking free from this cycle isn't easy, but it's necessary. Ambiguity is a weapon, and it only works if you let it. Demand clarity. Say, I deserve to know where I stand. If he can't give you a straight answer, that's your answer. You've spent so much energy trying to figure him out that you've forgotten about yourself. Shift that focus. Reconnect with your goals, passions, and dreams. Build a life so full of joy and purpose that you don't need his validation to feel whole. Boundaries aren't about punishment, they're about protection. Tell him, I need consistency and honesty. If you can't give me that, I can't stay. If he respects you, he'll step up. If not, you'll know it's time to move on. Remember that burning rope? It's time to let it go. Yes, it'll hurt at first, but healing starts when you stop holding on to something that's hurting you. Talk to friends, family, or even a therapist. Share your feelings, get perspective, and lean on the people who love you. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. A relationship should add to your life, not take away from it. A man who keeps you guessing isn't worth your time. Love shouldn't feel like a mystery novel or a puzzle you're trying to solve. It should feel clear, steady, and safe. You deserve someone who doesn't make you question your worth or your place in their life. So, let me ask you, are you tired of waiting at a gate for a flight that's never coming? Then it's time to walk away. Not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Because the right man won't keep you guessing. He'll make sure you know exactly where you stand. And when you walk away, don't look back. The future you deserve is ahead of you, not behind. Behavior 3. He doesn't prioritize you. When someone truly values you, they don't make you beg for a space in their life. They make room for you, no questions asked. Let's get one thing clear. A man who doesn't prioritize you isn't too busy, confused, or bad at relationships. He's simply showing you where you stand in his life, at the bottom of his priority list. If you're constantly bending over backward to fit into his world while he barely lifts a finger to show up in yours, then it's not love. It's neglect, plain and simple. Imagine this. You're always the one rearranging your schedule to accommodate his, cancelling plans with friends, skipping things you enjoy, or adjusting your routine just to make him happy. But when it's time for him to reciprocate, whether it's meeting your friends, celebrating your wins, or simply being there when you need him, he suddenly has an excuse. "I'm slammed at work," he says. "Things will calm down soon," he promises. But they never do. The truth? If someone truly cares, they'll move mountains to be there for you. If they don't, they won't even budge a pebble. Prioritizing someone isn't just about showing up when it's easy or convenient. It's about effort. It's about proving through consistent actions that your happiness, your needs, and your presence matter. In a healthy relationship, this kind of prioritization is a two-way street. Both people make time for each other, even when life gets busy. But with a man who doesn't prioritize you, it's a one-sided effort, like trying to row a boat with one oar. You end up spinning in circles, exhausted and going nowhere. You might be telling yourself, maybe he's just going through a lot right now. And sure, life gets hectic sometimes. But here's the thing, nobody is so busy that they can't find a moment to show someone they care. A text, a call, or even a small gesture can mean the world when it's genuine. If he's consistently choosing work, friends, or even his hobbies over you, it's not because he doesn't have time, it's because he's not making time. Think about this. When was the last time he prioritized something important to you? Did he show up for your big moments, or did he brush them off? Does he know your favorite things, your dreams, or what matters most to you? Or does it feel like he's just going through the motions, putting in minimal effort to keep you around? Here's the harsh truth. When someone sees you as an option instead of a priority, they'll always find a way to justify their lack of effort. They'll tell you they're too busy right now, or not good at expressing themselves. They might even flip the script and make you feel guilty for asking for more, saying things like, "Why are you so demanding?" But the reality is simple. If he wanted to, he would. Imagine a stage. In a healthy relationship, both partners are in the spotlight together, supporting each other, sharing the space, and celebrating their moments equally. But with a man who doesn't prioritize you, it's like you're always in the audience, cheering for him while he takes center stage. And when it's your turn to shine, he's nowhere to be found. The longer you accept this behavior, the more it chips away at your self-worth. You start questioning yourself. Am I being too needy? Should I just be patient? But here's the truth. You're not asking for too much. You're asking the wrong person. Wanting to be valued and prioritized isn't needy. It's the foundation of a healthy relationship. So how do you find out if someone truly values you? Watch their actions, not their excuses. Do they show up when it matters, or do they constantly let you down? Do they follow through on their promises, or are their words just placeholders? Are you the one always adjusting to their schedule, or do they make time for you even when it's inconvenient? Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're holding a jar full of your time, energy, and love. Every time you make an effort for him, you're pouring a little out of your jar. But when it's time for him to pour back into yours, the jar stays empty. You keep giving and giving until there's nothing left for yourself. A healthy relationship is about refilling each other's jars, not draining them dry. Rising above this dynamic starts with setting boundaries. Boundaries aren't about punishing someone, they're about protecting yourself. Tell him what you need. Say, I need you to show up for me the way I show up for you. If he truly values you, he'll make changes. If he doesn't, that tells you everything you need to know. Next, shift the focus back to yourself. When you're constantly trying to fix someone else's lack of effort, you lose sight of your own needs. Reconnect with the things that bring you joy, your passions, your friends, your goals. Build a life so fulfilling that you don't need someone else to feel whole. Letting go of someone who doesn't prioritize you can feel like walking away from an investment you've poured so much into. But remember this, the energy you're spending trying to make him care is energy you could be using to create the life you deserve. You can't keep watering a plant that's already dead and expect it to bloom. It's not your job to convince someone to value you. It's your job to value yourself enough to walk away when you're not being treated right. And walking away doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're choosing yourself. Picture this. You're standing at a train station. His train has been delayed for hours, and every time you ask for an update, you get a vague response. You've missed other trains, opportunities to move forward, because you've been waiting for this one. But eventually, you realize his train isn't coming, and even if it does, it's not taking you anywhere you want to go. Walking away is hard, but staying where you're not valued is harder. When you leave, don't look back. The right person won't make you wonder if you're important to them. They'll show you through their actions, consistently and without hesitation. Remember this, someone who truly loves you will make you a part of their world, not an afterthought. You deserve someone who prioritizes you, not just when it's convenient, but every day through the ups and downs. Don't settle for being someone's occasional option when you deserve to be their first choice. And when you walk away, remind yourself, you're not losing him, you're finding yourself. The love you deserve is waiting, and it starts with the love you give to yourself. Number 4, he avoids emotional or financial responsibility. A man who avoids responsibility, whether emotional or financial, isn't a partner. He's a passenger on the ship you're steering, enjoying the ride while you do all the work. Let's not sugarcoat this. If a man is dodging responsibility in any form, he's not just lazy or clueless. He's selfish. He expects you to carry the weight of the relationship while he reaps the benefits. He might smile, make promises, or throw in just enough effort to keep you hanging on. But when it comes to showing up, really showing up, he's nowhere to be found. Picture this. Emotionally, he treats you like a therapist. You're the one he leans on when life gets tough, the one who cheers him on when he's down, and the one who makes him feel good about himself. But when you need support, suddenly he's busy, uninterested, or worse, accuses you of being too sensitive or dramatic. Financially, it's no different. Maybe he conveniently forgets his wallet, borrows money without repaying it, or expects you to cover every date and bill. What's worse, he doesn't even acknowledge the imbalance. He treats it as if it's your job to pick up the slack. Why does this hurt so much? Because it's not just about the money or the emotional labor. It's about what his behavior says. It says he doesn't respect you enough to be an equal partner. It says he sees you as someone to take from, not build with. And that message, whether spoken or unspoken, cuts deep. Let's break this down further. Emotionally, he's all take and no give. He expects you to listen to his problems, offer solutions, and be his cheerleader. But when you open up about your struggles, he dismisses you, changes the subject, or worse, turns it around to make himself the victim. It's as if your feelings are a burden he can't be bothered to carry. Over time, this leaves you feeling drained, unseen, and unheard. Studies in emotional labor have shown that relationships thrive when both partners actively listen and empathize. If you're the only one doing the emotional heavy lifting, that's not just exhausting, it's toxic. Financially, his behavior might be more subtle, but it's no less damaging. Maybe he conveniently forgets his wallet when you're out together, or always has a reason why he can't pitch in. Perhaps he borrows money with vague promises to pay it back, but never follows through. Or worse, he frames it as if you're the one who's being unreasonable for expecting fairness. It's not about how much he makes, it's about the effort. A man who values you will contribute in whatever way he can, even if it's not equal in dollar amounts. What he won't do is take advantage of your kindness and leave you feeling used. The deeper issue here isn't just the actions, it's the mindset behind them. A man who avoids responsibility sees the relationship as something that benefits him, not something he needs to actively nurture. He's not thinking about the long term or about building a life with you. He's thinking about what's easiest for him right now. And let's be honest, that's not love, that's convenience. Why do we put up with this? Sometimes it's because we've been taught to be understanding, patient, and supportive. Society tells women to be nurturers, to stick it out, and to give people the benefit of the doubt. But there's a fine line between being supportive and being taken advantage of. Other times, fear keeps us stuck. What if I walk away and he finally changes? What if I never find someone better? What if I'm overreacting? These questions keep you second-guessing yourself while he continues to sidestep any real accountability. Here's a hard truth. He's not going to change unless he wants to, and you can't make him want to. People who avoid responsibility often do so because it works for them. They've learned that someone else will always pick up the slack, so why should they bother? If you've been carrying the emotional and financial weight in the relationship, why would he suddenly step up? Comfort breeds complacency, and as long as you keep enabling his behavior, he has no reason to change. So, how do you find out if this is really what's happening in your relationship? Start by observing. Does he shut down when you try to have serious conversations about your feelings? Does he minimize your concerns or accuse you of being too emotional? These are signs of emotional avoidance. On the financial side, does he make excuses for why he can't contribute? Does he always seem to have money for himself, but not for shared expenses? Pay attention to patterns, not promises. Words mean nothing if they're not backed by consistent action. Once you've identified the problem, the next step is deciding how to rise above it. The first thing you need to do is set boundaries. Boundaries aren't about punishing him, they're about protecting yourself. Say, I need emotional support in this relationship. If you can't listen and empathize when I share my feelings, I can't continue like this. Or, I need fairness when it comes to finances. I'm not okay with being the only one who contributes. If he respects you, he'll step up. If he doesn't, that tells you everything you need to know. You also need to shift the focus back to yourself. You've spent so much time trying to meet his needs that you've likely neglected your own. Reconnect with your passions, your goals, and the people who lift you up. Stop pouring all your energy into someone who won't even meet you halfway. The truth is, the energy you're spending trying to fix him could be better spent building a life you love. Letting go of someone who avoids responsibility isn't easy, especially if you've invested time, love, and effort into the relationship. But holding on to someone who drains you emotionally and financially isn't just hard, it's harmful. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with holes in it. No matter how much water you pour in, it will never be full. That's what staying in a one-sided relationship feels like. You give and give, but it's never enough because the other person isn't willing to do their part. Remember this, a real partner doesn't leave you carrying the weight of the relationship alone. They show up emotionally, financially, and in every other way that matters. They don't make you feel like your needs are too much, or that you're asking for something unreasonable. And they certainly don't take advantage of your kindness and call it love. If a man is avoiding emotional or financial responsibility, he's not your partner, he's your project. And you're not here to fix someone who refuses to fix himself. You're here to build a life with someone who wants to build with you. So, let go of the burning rope. Walk away from the man who leaves you feeling drained and start walking toward the life and the love you deserve. Because the right person won't make you carry the weight alone. They'll carry it with you. Behavior 5. He ignores your emotional needs. Love without respect is like a body without a soul. It's hollow and lifeless. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked yet devastating ways a man can mistreat a woman: ignoring her emotional needs. A man who ignores your feelings isn't just being careless. He's showing you that your emotions, your voice, and your experiences don't matter to him. This isn't a small problem or something you can brush under the rug. It's a massive red flag waving right in your face, demanding your attention. Imagine pouring your heart out to someone who shrugs it off like you're discussing the weather. You share your worries, your dreams, your pain, only to be met with a blank stare, a quick subject change, or worse, accusations like, "You're too sensitive," or "Why do you always overreact?" It's like trying to talk to a brick wall, exhausting, infuriating, and ultimately soul-crushing. This kind of neglect isn't just inconsiderate, it's emotionally abusive. Ignoring your emotional needs creates a chasm in the relationship, leaving you feeling unseen, unheard, and utterly alone. It makes you doubt yourself. Am I asking for too much? Should I just keep quiet? Maybe I'm being difficult. Let me stop you right there. No, you're not asking for too much. And no, you're not difficult. You're human, and humans need connection, empathy, and support. Here's the thing about emotional neglect. It doesn't always scream. It whispers. It creeps in quietly, stealing pieces of your confidence and happiness, one dismissive response at a time. It's the silent killer of relationships, eroding trust and intimacy until there's nothing left but a shell of what once was. Why does he do this? Some men ignore emotional needs because they're emotionally unavailable. They don't want to deal with feelings, yours or their own. Others do it to maintain control. If he keeps you questioning your worth, constantly chasing his validation, he knows you're less likely to walk away. And then there are those who are simply selfish, only showing up when it benefits them. Whatever the reason, the result is the same. You're left carrying the emotional load of the relationship all by yourself. Think about how it feels when you're always there for him, his cheerleader, his support system, his safe space. But when the roles are reversed, he's nowhere to be found. You're allowed to cry on his shoulder, but only if it doesn't make him uncomfortable. You're allowed to voice your needs, but only if they don't require him to change or put in effort. It's a one-way street, and you're doing all the heavy lifting. It's like being a lifeguard who's constantly rescuing someone who refuses to learn how to swim. You're exhausted, but you keep diving in because you care. Meanwhile, he's floating along, happy to let you do all the work. But here's the truth. Love isn't about drowning to save someone else. It's about both of you swimming together, side by side. How do you know if this is happening to you? Pay attention to his responses when you open up. Does he listen or does he shut down? Does he try to understand or does he dismiss you? Does he show empathy or does he make you feel like your feelings are a burden? If you find yourself constantly saying, "I feel unheard," or "I can't talk to him about my feelings without it turning into a fight," you're already carrying too much of the emotional weight. It's not just about what he says, it's about what he doesn't do. Does he notice when you're upset and check in on you? Does he celebrate your wins and comfort you during your losses? Does he ask about your dreams, your fears, your thoughts? Or does he only show interest when it suits him? A man who truly loves you will make the effort to understand you, not just the happy, easy parts, but the messy, complicated parts too. Ignoring your emotional needs is like standing in a room and screaming, only for no one to turn around. It chips away at your spirit and makes you feel invisible. And let's not underestimate the damage this can do. Studies on relationships show that emotional reciprocity, the give and take of care, understanding and empathy, is a cornerstone of healthy love. When one partner consistently neglects the other's emotional needs, it creates an imbalance that erodes trust and intimacy over time. But here's the good news. You don't have to accept this. You don't have to settle for someone who treats your feelings like they're optional. You can rise above it. The first step is recognizing the pattern for what it is, a form of neglect. Stop making excuses for him. Stop telling yourself he's just not good at expressing himself, or he's been through a lot. While those things might be true, they don't give him a free pass to dismiss your emotions. The second step is asserting your needs. Use I statements to express how you feel without sounding accusatory. For example, say, "I feel unheard when I try to share my concerns." This makes it about your feelings, not his actions, which can make him less defensive. But don't stop there. Watch his response. If he genuinely cares, he'll listen and make an effort to do better. If he brushes it off or turns it into a fight, that's your answer. Remember, setting boundaries isn't about punishing him. It's about protecting yourself. You have every right to say, "I need emotional support in a relationship. If you can't provide that, I can't stay." Boundaries are your way of saying, "This is what I need to feel valued. Take it or leave it." You might be wondering, what if he doesn't change? What if he still ignores my feelings? then it's time to walk away. Not because you don't love him, but because you love yourself enough to stop settling for less than you deserve. Walking away is hard. It feels like ripping out a piece of your heart. But staying in a relationship that drains you is even harder in the long run. Think of it this way: you wouldn't keep pouring water into a cracked glass, hoping it will magically hold together. You'd find a glass that's whole and capable of holding what you pour into it. The same goes for relationships. You deserve someone who not only receives your love, but reflects it back to you in equal measure. Love should make you feel seen, heard, and cherished. It should be a safe space where your feelings matter just as much as his. A man who truly values you will want to understand your emotions, not dismiss them. He'll want to carry the emotional load with you, not leave you to do it alone. If he's ignoring your emotional needs, he's ignoring you. Don't shrink yourself to fit into his world. Don't silence your voice to keep the peace. You are worthy of a love that listens, supports, and nurtures. So, if he won't rise to meet your standards, don't lower them. Let him go. The love you deserve is out there, and it's waiting for you to make room for it. So, ladies, ignoring your emotional needs isn't love, it's neglect. You deserve someone who listens, supports, and values every part of you, not just when it's convenient for them. If he won't rise to meet your needs, it's time to prioritize yourself. Remember, staying in a one-sided relationship only delays the love you truly deserve. Let go of what's hurting you and make space for what will heal you. You're worthy of a relationship that feels like home, not like a battlefield. If this message resonated, share it with someone who needs it, leave a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more empowering content.